Good morning, viewers. Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the midweek edition of the Breakfast Show, where they come to you live from Liberty Online TV with the stream na Facebook, YouTube, and also now we website where they powered by Orange Sierra Leone. We will bring this edition of the Breakfast Show come to you this Wednesday morning. My name na Khadija Bangura.
And Mina Mabel Kaba, good morning. Today now Wednesday, the 7th day of January 2026. Inside this edition of the Breakfast Show today, we all know say inside 2025, one of the major things where citizens be they call for now for less service delivery happen now different ministry departments and agencies them. And we know say where the president been giving address to the nation New Year's Day. One of the things we talk about now that this 2026 gets for be a year outside and they take tough actions them for letting go better for all citizens. So we make today this edition of the Breakfast Show where they can't talk to the one where they in governance. We know say government get three arms where now the judiciary, the legislative, and the executive. All of them three arms and they now they can look at this morning. Waiting they don't put in place for ensure say 2026 be a tough year for actions like how the president been talk inside in state's address we give to the public on New Year's Day. Now that's what they can discuss today. Also they can talk to the three arms of government for can tell honor the viewers them waiting them plan for gets for do for 2026 and how they go sail through the year for ensure say service delivery happen na all levels. We they can talk about that in this edition of the Breakfast Show.
Well, also, you go hear from the Anti-Corruption Commission as them been pull a press statement for inform the general public say they don't begin for do investigation. Now the Immigrations Department on some workman them and safe money, but 300 billion loans we lost. Now the National Revenue Authority, OSAI, the ACC and the Criminal Investigations Department don't begin for investigate all of the issues there. We hear from the Anti-Corruption Commission how they come about for arrest them people there, when the investigation go begin, and if they get plan for gather enough evidence for let them charge gonna court.
All right, and remember, so you say for the watch the program can send you message to the number +232 74 200 545 or drop them in the comment section na the different platforms on the watch with this morning. Before we look at the three arms of government, we na the topic of the day, we just quickly go na the Anti-Corruption Commission. Also, we get Abubakar Ture on the line for give we updates on recent investigations them inside this 2026 where the ACC don't start as on Monday we pass so then say them begin an investigation na the Immigration Department who say according to them then they check for second allegations say then they give diplomatic and service passports to different people and we not deserve them. Well, these allegations them will be done they come for a very long time. Well, now the ACC don't begin for investigates. Let me go on the phone and talk to Abubakar Ture. Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Show, Mr. Ture.
Good morning, Mabel. I'm glad for you this morning.
Like I don't tell the viewers them, early this week, we see the Anti-Corruption Commission pull what say when I don't begin investigation na the Immigration Department of Salon. Firstly, just tell the viewers them, waiting really ignites this particular investigation where the ACC they do na the Immigration Department.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, it got to do with tip-off, reports them, complaints they will be done the case. Of course, allegations, we go call it at this time, that there are certain people we get diplomatic and service passports, them we really not deserve them. And of course, we all know there are certain criteria for let people possess diplomatic passports or service passports. For example, diplomatic passports, it's possible to say you're not possible there on diplomatic duties, under ambassadors, press attaches, those kind of people, or top government officials that they're supposed to get them. And of course, for service passports, we know say mostly now people like we work for government, we will probably want for travel, like for deserve, then kind category of passports then they. So if the allegations or the complaints they will be done they get now that some of the people that will be done they get they are people who we call undeserving people that we know actually fall within the category where I just don't describe. So this is the allegation, and that's make we spring in on Monday we read the production units, now the immigration departments, the particular units where they produce the passports. We go there, we read there, and of course we see certain documents, where all the documents then they now subjects of investigation. And already we get certain people who we think they are persons of interest, where they report daily at the Anti-Corruption Commission for make the help with the investigation.
Abubakar, you said go agree say the allegation there where una the investigate so na the production department of the immigration, not a new allegation them, not a today the allegation they are begin come out from the immigration department. Then people here where you say na persons of interest, then they report every day na the criminal investigation department. One go the one that said under other investigation them, una they detain the people until una get the evidence so una want for charge them go court. Why this one different?
Yeah, but it depends on the nature of the investigation. It depends on the nature of the investigation, because certain people at times, like for example, where we invite them, we can put them on bail. So it means certain conditions they will already impose, say these are the bail conditions. And sometimes it involves sometimes taking their traveling documents, and of course also get shorties we go can sign, say at any time we need them people and they will produce them. So again, say the Anti-Corruption Commission or get detention facilities. This is one of our biggest challenges. So most of the time,
but I can make use of the one they're waiting at the criminal investigation department.
Yes, so we can also make use of the CID, as you rightly say. But again, as I say, the major reason now, because of based on the investigation, we think say, okay, it is not yet time for let we detain certain people. We're not going to just go ahead and detain them. As long as these people, we get them at any time we want for the reporting at the commission, then normally we not can go ahead and say let we detain them.
How certain is the commission say then people here we una the investigate so not go get for do anything we go tamper with the investigation? Because if una the investigate a particular office, the person still gets access to in office. If they go work there every day in terms of documentations, they understand the system better than the ACC. How certain una be say then they go work, they not go for tamper with whatever investigations una they do na the department?
I'm going to show you, we get very professional investigators, and I will tell you for free, if we get them kind of fears than they, in fact, that was one of the reasons why sometimes we can detain certain people. If we have those fears, then definitely we're not going to allow them or make sure that we detain some of those people in our custody. But right now, I don't think say those fears are there, and if at all we get them, say certain people go out for interfere with the investigation, especially from their own office side, then we go take the appropriate action. But right now, we not think say that's really not the situation.
From the Anti-Corruption Commission, allegation don't they come again about this same immigration department for sell salon passport to undeserving people, and like how I can call them, especially foreigner them, where they can catch na crime act them, but they can produce salon passports them. For example, like what they happen so now between Sierra Leone and the United States, because then get people in at the immigration detention center them, we get Sierra Leone documentation, but the Salon government, they say not to them people them and they not agree for take them. How the ACC they investigate into this matter? Not just one day then they give service passports. Sales of Sierra Leone passports and another allegation way don't become alarming at the immigration.
I will tell you, Khadija, this is a wide range investigation. We get for look at so many things, including the one that way you also don't make mention of.
But una aware of them?
So as I say again, the investigation is wide ranging. It also includes the things we also they make mention of, that there are people in certain detention facilities where they claim say they are Sierra Leoneans, they hold our passport, but when you check fines, sometimes they are not truly Sierra Leonean and they are not supposed to have those passports. So now that make we investigation get for cover so many things. And this not to say we just look at the present time because their allegation, as you said, don't say, not to say they didn't start. So now that make we really expand the scope of the investigation. For like because if somebody gets in passports today, for example, it means sometimes a passport will be don't get 1 year ago, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years ago at least. So now that make the investigation, we will make sure say it cover all those years, especially the time where we know say the passport valid. So it will therefore go probably 5 years back when those passports were issued to some of those individuals. So now a wide range investigation, and that thing where we feel say we therefore make a very comprehensive and holistic, so that whosoever responsible, whether it was somebody who had worked at the immigration department in the past or the current employees them at the immigration, we get for look at all those issues.
Apart from this passport issue, Abubakar, there is another allegation of missing billions from the National Revenue Authority, where UNA and the Criminal Investigation Department, they investigate. Tell the public about this particular investigation of the alleged 300 billion from the National Revenue Authority.
Yes, you're right. Yes, we also investigate the staff of the National Revenue Authority, especially those attached to the Asikuda department na NRA. So the allegation are that over time, so for a period of time, those staff be done, they make certain transactions, they disappear, because the essence of the Asikuda department or system is for accountability day. So, like for example, somebody will clear a container. If he pay 10 million leons, for example, that 10 million leons they for register at the system as part of the payments where the person make to the government. So certain of those transactions have been disappearing. And when we do calculation, roughly right now it is estimated at around 300 million leons, which is about 300 billion leons. So again, all these are subjects of investigation already. We get 3 people in custody as at the top now, and then they help the commission with the investigation.
What's in the SEC don't fair not say na the problem na NRA, especially people where they work around this Asikuda system, because not for the first time this way then complain here, they come up all the time. National Revenue Authority, especially people who get access to the Asikuda system, they get issues where investigations be done they go on because they can take money where supposed for go to government, they divert them for their own use. Waiting at the problem where the ACC don't fair not say they make repeatedly this don't they happen, even though not don't they investigate before now.
Yeah, you rightly say this is not the first time we investigating. I mean, for several years, problems that we don't do in NRA, we don't do systems and processes review, we don't investigate, we don't charge to court, we don't do recoveries. But you know, the problems that still persist. But we at the commission, one thing we will say, I mean, no matter what that in NRA, no matter what that involve, we did make sure say whenever we get any reports there and complaints there, so we then make sure say we do we investigation. And that make, I mean, now the NRA itself, we make sure so we get a very solid intelligence system within the NRA. And of course, sometimes the intelligence system, they work without even people realizing that we have them within the NRA. So if people and say them will still continue for do the dubious things them na the NRA, and then they make governments the lost revenue, badly needed revenue, then definitely we self not going ever tire. We will always go against after them.
The question, Abubakar, now waiting on Adon Fenots from previous investigations, waiting on Adon Fenots say na the problem we make all the time. Money must lost na NRA and una go do investigation. Waiting on a Fenot.
Well, most of the time, one of the problems now because of sometimes poor supervisory roles of especially people who is supposed for do their work as either managers or directors. These are sometimes the problems, because if you get very proper leadership, the moment some of them problems they also happen, just within a day, you should be able to detect them. But if you not get proper supervision of the system itself, of your staff themselves, then definitely you almost always they get them problems they also recurring. And as I say again, if they're not tired, their commission also go always make sure say we go against them, go after them.
All right, many thanks, Abubakar Tue, where you talked to me this morning and give we update on two key investigation them where the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Criminal Investigation Department they do now the Immigration Department, and also three workmen them from the National Revenue Authority and the Asikuda Department. They under investigation for alleged 300 billion loans where according to the ACC missing. We will continue for follow-up and on the investigations, then they out and they go na CID and the ACC and go to give na updates on them two different investigations then they. Well, from the Anti-Corruption Commission, we they come now with studios. As earlier we tell una say today, as you all know, the 2026 year just begin and we hear from President Bio in speech. He described this year say na year of action. And when they say government, it get three arms. It gets the executive, you get the legislative, and also you get the judiciary. So we can hear from them three arms there. For the legislative, we get one of the leader them na parliament, when Honorable Abdul Kargbo, when a leader of the minority. Good morning, Honorable.
Morning, Patty. And thanks for having me.
All right. For the executive, we get the government spokesperson. We also na the Minister of Information and Civic Education. We na Chernor. Good morning, Mr. Minister.
Happy New Year, Patty.
And also for the judiciary, we get for you from the Director of Communications and Public Affairs, Wena El Kasano. We go can tell we waiting na their own decisive steps them we then go take for ensure say salon people get access to free and fair justice system. And we go carry from the Minister of Information and Civic Education, waiting the executive arm of government go do for ensure say then deliver the basic service them to the citizens. And also we go carry from the legislative, when Honorable Abdul Kargbo go can tell we waiting there as parliament go do for make sure say them pass law them we go favorable for the citizens, and also for make the ensure say then go they look at the things them, especially when it come to contracts, bills them when then go pass na parliament. One them we go benefit the citizen them. Now that conversation they would get this morning. If you say for the watch we want for the part of the conversation, you can send we you comments, your thoughts na the comment section at any of the platform the way they watch we, or you can as well send we text on the number +23274 200 545. So before we can start for talk to we panelists them, yesterday Liberty TV been go na some parts them na Freetown and talk to the ordinary citizens who express waiting and they expect from them three arms of government here. Now we listen to the people them, they will go come to the minister and the leader of the opposition and also the judiciary.
All right, welcome back. You still Iwaji Breakfast Show where they come to you live na Liberty Online TV. That's gonna be the views of citizens them na Freetown we talk about waiting and they expect from the government, especially the three arms of government inside this 2026. We don't hear waiting they don't talk. We tell una say today one can hear from them people here. Waiting and waiting then self plan for do as the president inside message on New Year's Day be talk say this na a year for action. People them want service delivery and they want them where they ensure say then thing happen. Now the three arms of government, most of them they come out. So we make today we they talk to them people here. Let them can tell we waiting, we know say the executive for do 2026, waiting the legislative self they do 2026 and self go for it from the judiciary, waiting a self plan for do inside this 2026 for ensure say the actions where the president say for happen inside this 2026 happen. We they begin from the executive arm of government. We know say most times where people say government, the first thing where they remember when they talk about government, na the executive, and we don't hear it from citizens them, when are the electorates them, and then they put people in a power. You there this morning, Mr. Minister, you don't hear the views of citizens as per the expectations, especially for the government, including the three arms them. But let we just go back. We know say where the president be making speech, among many other things where he talk about, he say this 2026 na term way una where they in government where they before, we know say where they say governance, everybody gets your role for play. But now una most times the lights can they on. Let we start from the executive, where the president say this na a year for action. What's in exactly it mean?
Thank you very much. 2025 will be the year of stability. At the beginning of 2025, if you look at the data on the economy, we can get some of the highest inflation rates, the dollar rate being they fluctuate. We can get food prices them when they continue to go up. When you look at the economy, you know, being get the kind of stability we've been get. We've been there in different programs with the World Bank and IMF, and they may subject to additional reviews. Then we mean say all of 2025 will not be even get disbursement. And then you look at what may happen at the rest of the world. You look at the crisis now, the Middle East, Palestine and Israel, the crisis now Ukraine. All of them they've been they put significant pressure on our country, on our economy, and we make it difficult for we take off or take the kind of action we will transform people in lives. We think President Bill decide for doing 2025 now for take some difficult actions. We cut spending. We really make sure say we bring the economy under control. So inflation moved from about 55% to single digits. We get the lowest inflation rate in Sierra Leone now for over 20 years. We take the economy, we move from the economy when they sleep, they go down. So now we get a growth rate, we commensurate. In fact, they ahead of who peers them across the continent. You take the dollar exchange rate. From the beginning of the year until the end of the year, now basically one straight line. We look at trend lines. The number stay around the same. So you provide stability. WFP reports at the end of the third quarter that food prices then they decline at the country for the first time in a long time. You see the price of rice, the price of other essential commodities, them either they're stable or then go down. For the first time in a long time in this country, December come, you don't worry about shortage of fuel, you don't see nobody to line for fuel. There was no artificial increase. In fact, I see reports this morning say we expect some reduction as well in the price of fuel, for example, within the market. Within the country do, within President Bill leadership do, was stabilize. And the one big thing where I think most people and they ignore what we achieve in 2025 is security. This now one of the years them in me live in memory, especially as at least since President Bill come na power, that will not get any major security disruptions. Remember, Tradeden say, oh, then they come, oh, run happen here, hey, school not open today, hey, this happen here. The presidents take measures, including the governance steps that we will take, bringing government closer to the people, the information, the flow, people get access to information. We basically take control of the public square in 2025. We remove the microphone away from the extremists and the people always seek for dividery. We take the microphone. We see platforms like Una grow up and become much more prominent and provide credible information and channels to people. So 2025 now been a year where we steady the ship. Now, within His Excellency say, as the year comes to an end, that stabilization there we see say result in some major new developments. IMF come back in, they restore the program. When I see they don't announce additional disbursements, you realize the MCC now in the process of also completing. We'll forget infusion of cash, World Bank, we'll forget EU, all of that one, and then an indication of the confidence we then get based on the steps that we would take, including, by the way, on the tripartite, which I'm sure my brother will talk about, in terms of governance stabilization. The promises that we make, we say, hey, we committed to them promise, and they will work towards them, reform, and they, whether our constitution, whether our new localities, whether our census, all of them in an inclusive governance process. So now presidents say, okay, we don't do reforms, we don't do law, we don't do policy, we don't stabilize the economy. 2026, we for translate that into action, where they really make them pamble over they listen to Chernor, then feel the difference in their life. And how we mean by them go feel that difference, they want to see food prices continue to go down. We want to see more local production of food. That's the number one priority. We want to obviously continue to see more jobs. I hear some people then talk about jobs in different kinds of fields, innovation, in other areas. We want to see better health outcomes. We don't do really well on health, but now we try to provide even additional health facilities across the country. We don't reduce maternal mortality. We try to chase down health, child mortality and all of that. So we want to see more and more, again, additional new health workers could be hired and all of that. So that is a real change in people in life. We want to see as well, President Bill, we want to see that then roads, then bridges who we don't promise for build, especially then feeder roads, then bridge where they link communities, where they make this country at the lady foundation for let the feet salon go before. And then one more thing I will mention, of course, now on the area of electricity. We want to see action, tangible action. So family, look, one thing clear, no time no the way you go do this interview, you know, get people will get for complain. Anytime when I do vox pop, people will get for complain. That's how democracy works. I don't live every corner of the world. You go to Norway now, you go do vox pop, the citizen will tell you within elect by the government. You go to America now, they will tell you within elect by the government. But we too want for see that the basic thing that we the Sierra Leonean population need, that they expect. Like this holiday where they know, would nobody no complain about security. We want to remove some stress with people that may be stressed about. So we remove, I'll not be part of the stress concern again. Access to food, access to water, access to hygiene, basic access to health facilities. And of course, President Bio's signature achievement, now that it don't revolutionize education as alone. Biggest spender in education in history of our country. Net enrollment rate where camper, for example, boys and girls, male-female ratio would not achieve parity, and all of them say they want to continue for double down on that because education are long-term investment and at the baseline for all of them things I don't talk about. So now Dan the mean way say 2026 action.
Mr. Minister, the Minister of Information don't take in time, it don't define the president's area of action beautifully. Waiting this mean, and from your definition, it's full of so much hope and it's full of so much energy for deliver the basic necessities for Sierra Leoneans. How una the executive arm of government go ensure say this not like any other address, this could be an address, we will get tangible examples by the third day again, 2027, you not get much for explain again. You go just the point at say, when I request the BOB say 2026 na year of action, well na the action in this will take.
I'm glad we asked that question because the president actually provided a guideline for that. He say not to term for we do reckless spending. Now follow live within we means. For just because we say action means we just can spend money there, it can lead to again new levels of inflation where they bring we again to pressures of austerity and all that kind of thing. He say no, not responsible. He say a careful, intentional investment. And you know we want for Judge President Bureau intentions, check the budgets and see what we don't promise for do with the budgets. The Finance Act, we may border the leadership don't able for April for pass in our parliament right now, and you will see the numbers that we did. You will see the areas that we don't say, look, when we get the resources, when we mobilize the resources, now yeah, the money they go. Another area that I don't talk about, food production. We really want to increase. So last year, by the way, we increased food agriculture exports in the country by 12%. It's huge. We think about how we come out to now all day in terms of net exports. We think President want to do, we want to even double that. We want to do much more than we don't do in this year. What's in that mean? It means farmers will get money. It means, but it also requires citizens for like we take civic action. We go for go buy less, like me and my brother Abdul, so we get the means, buy the local less. We go for go buy something they make in a salon, buy it. I make the finance bill, if you watch them, no taxes on the goods that we did make now when a common goods we Sierra Leoneans need for consume on a daily basis. We impose taxes on the other hand on goods that we did import where they can compete with we own goods than I because this time we want let it be say we people like we own economy. We own steps that we take now for protect local industry. So President Bio in commitment is strong on this issue. It don't even issue very clear directives to all the ministers. Will be judged by action. This not to term for explain what you don't do, how you don't do them, and how would they continue, like I say, for get that tangible results. Look, the numbers, then always they did the numbers, not the lie. We get WFP, they track, for example, food prices. I mentioned, say, in the last quarter, the report say, for the first time in a long time, food prices go down. They mentioned, say, inflation don't go down at the country. They mentioned the stability would experience. Will they continue for track the data, then they reflect on ordinary people, their life. Price of rice. If I come back now, I can't make it explain. It will be explanation. The price of rice will be out there and will show you, say, hey, the steps that we don't take for investing in local food production, for protecting markets, for price risk will come down. Fuel, when an essential commodity. Again, I'm not saying not to all the same people they can applaud government, but if you see the steps that we don't take, for example, for stabilize the fuel industry in the country, right? It means it will get greater diversity now. We'll get different players than within the markets now. We'll get enough supply in the markets. Try to remember December, all my ass they worry. Will they begin to lie, will they go begin buy fuel, this, that didn't really happen again. So now then steps and we don't develop different formula for different items and how we sell as they consume, whether it's cement, this, that, will they bring produce iron ore now. All lengthening in the day supports the economy. And as I say, them bridge, we don't say President Build the bill, don't begin open some of them, the road, they don't stall on because we're not going to get any major disbursement in 2025 from our international partners. We manage the economy irrespective and maintain the stability. Now that the disbursement that they come, people will see the investment they will present. You don't make any priorities that we don't set.
And one thing you make mention of earlier, now that in 2025, one thing we work well on a cut spending. And for so many people where you go out there and ask, one thing where they go say, service delivery not they happen because at times governments get misplaced priorities then getting the way they can put attention to it for the people, not to them they can need. The spending where government cuts in 2025, now being which area na government we wanna make adjustments, we make on able say
well,
on
across the board. Across the board. Every MD you talk to will tell you, say, them in get for manage last. Every MD will tell you, say, waiting they ask for is not what they got. Waiting them budgeted for is not waiting they get. Now, across the board spending cuts will be experienced because, as I tell you, will be need for put inflation under control. And we'll get, if you put inflation under control, if you just run away the spend, especially with the spend money where you not get, right? You're not able for stabilize the economy, the kind of way we stabilize the economy, the exchange rates, you're not able for stabilize if you just throw money no more inside the markets without control, right? Economists will tell you then can say, so the reason will move from 55% inflation to now we talk about single digits, lower than 5%, in fact. Now, because we'll be able for cut spending across the board, we'll be able for tighten we belt. We took some difficult decisions, and the President Bill say, we ask everybody, say, sacrifice, because we need for steady the ship. And that steady the ship, they be do a couple of things for we, not so just for the economic indicators here, we World Bank, IMF, now the report say, yes, we don't see some favorable indicators. We mean say when they come back inside the program and we begin for disperse the resources to now. But also, then steps and the way we take, it help we as a country and as a people for let we continue for show confidence to other international partners and say, they are able for managing their affairs, they're able for take the steps they need for take, they're able for put the country, especially at the time where you see challenges they all across the other neighboring countries that we will get.
We say, on the executive being cut down for ensure say, on stabilize the ship inside 2025. They're spending there be reach the office of the president, especially we campaign in traveling budgets, because now one way we see citizens then complain, but a lot inside 2025 say president bill travels a lot and where they go out private jets were very expensive.
I answered this question yesterday in this very simple way. We talk about spending, there's also investment. So you ask yourself, if I put 5 million, what's I get out of that 5 million? When it comes to particularly the traveling of His Excellency the President, the country they get significantly more returns every time the President travel. Resources, money.
President count money. Come back
significantly.
Physical money.
You know, say I don't mean physical money. So
yeah, because you
don't
say they
ask it
count
that way.
money,
No, I
so
mean
it go
in
finally
terms of
the
resources
audience
but
understand.
I'll point out to you, right? MCC, $500 million investment. Years and years of President Bill in engagement. Now in translate Landy. You talk about Mission 300 Compact. Years and years of President Bill in engagement. We talk about right now hospitals built in Chernor, 100-bed hospitals that are being constructed across the country in Puja in different places. Different conversations His Excellency gets in different meetings. We go, we help for bring those resources come back into the economy. At the time where we get this great, as I say, no major disbursement from the international financial institutions, challenges waiting keep we afloat. Even now, the United States government, I've been listening just now to the consular officer, we've been now one of the other stations on my way here, then cut major spending across the board. Salon, now one of very few countries where they get two major compacts with the United States, the MCC and the Health Compact, just one of 4 countries in all of Africa. Why? Years and years of engagement by President Bill, including then traveling. But not just that. When President Bill travel, for example, now we are the chair of ECOWAS, the Authority of Heads of State, increase the clout of the country, the respect we get. You will put a financial value on that. Because what's that mean? You as a Sierra Leonean, now the image of the country they got. We cannot quantify that. That is important to we in so many ways. Right now, opening the Apuna international institutions where they ask for Sierra Leoneans for field the opening because of the excellent work and the image we would able for create. Take CITEN, take the United Nations Security Council, take the chairmanship of the Security Council, take the historic nature of in presiding over the Israel-Palestine particular resolution for bring peace and that. This is not thing that we picking and get for read but we get for be important to the country. We increase we ability for negotiate and interact with major international countries. When it comes to the president in specific travel, I don't see people that like for talk about that all the time, but I encourage people to pay attention to not to what you they put in, but every time the president go, is within the country the benefits from that. And I go assure you, say, on that one day, significantly.
We can't put more into that, Mr. Minister, but let's just come to the legislative. We'll get, I beg your pardon, we'll get one of the leader them na parliament, which we this morning when Honorable Abdul Kargbo, when the leader of the minority na parliament. We they look at the 3 arms of government this morning. We don't listen from the Minister of Information. We also na the government spokesman. He don't tell everybody executive waiting at some of the things they would want for do this year. As soon as reform last year then stabilize. Honorable, this na year of action 2026 according to His Excellency the President. Una na parliament. How una go define this particular action where the president don't declare?
Well, of course, I shall say we, na parliament and parliament generally, very central to democratic governance, through lawmaking, through we oversight functions, and through representation. So parliament very, very central. And parliament for be seen passing people-centered laws where they protect the ordinary masses, laws where they ensure say we make life comfortable for we people them. And parliament for be seen also holding the executive accountable. Accountable in the sense every ministry, department and agency get a committee in a parliament where they oversee them functions them. And where that committee get the responsibility for ensure say then deliver and for ensure say there is value for money in every project where government they do. Where I say governments, I mean ministries, departments and agencies. And also parliament for ensure say we protect the constitution, because the constitution are the gonum and now the constitution established government. So in any way we then they manipulate with the constitution. Parliament should not be very convenient with that. Parliament for also ensure say we get a national dialogue. National dialogue in the sense, Parliament are the only place where you get people from diverse political parties, they work together. Because where you go now, the executive, now mostly now based on the appointment from His Excellency the President. But Parliament now mandates people in the queue from their own, constituency or district, as the case may be now, for their own serve them. So Parliament for be the hub for unification in the country. And interestingly speaking, now that in the exercise of we duty na Parliament, there are a few things that will we for ensure say happen. One, Parliament for ensure say any prevailing circumstances where they affect the country, where they bring bad name to the country, or where the country they do well, we ensure say we tackle them through the legislative process. For example, if the country gets past mark debt, we very alarming, Parliament for ensure say we try for introduce a law we go limit, the way, or we go put a ceiling on the amount of debt that will they take as a nation. For example, if rape very prevalent, communities then they cry, say then they rape, Parliament for make sure say we do a law, we pass a law way for mitigate against that very circumstances where they affect we people there. So in a nutshell, Parliament therefore provides solutions, to circumstances the way the ordinary masses then faced with. And just now listen the Vox Pop wanna do, and I listen people their opinion. Most of them in the cry say members of Parliament or they consult with them constituents them, especially when they get bills and legislation for passing Parliament. Parliament self gets its own challenges, and members of Parliament in general get their own challenges. For every member of Parliament per month for facilitation, now 6,000 leons, then they give every member of Parliament. You get member of Parliament the way they Falaba. You get member of Parliament the way they Kwanadugu. You get member of Parliament the way they Kainlao. Just for you feel for go Kainlao and come back, it pass 6,000 leons. And if they consult with you people, you get for ensure say, you rent all or you get hall, you get PA system, you prepare transportation for elderly people or people the way they can the meeting, and if the consultation, the long you get refreshment. So for one public consultation no more, it cost you well over 20 to 25,000 leons for a member of Parliament. So imagine, a member of Parliament gets one consultation within people per month that in salary only don't they. So we say get the challenges of limited funding in Parliament. For we the international Parliament or regional Parliament, we colleagues them, then they make provision for other Parliament them in the country, not the world, sorry, or even in Africa or West Africa to be precise. We then they facilitate the movement them, and then they ensure say they get funding for consult with them people them. And to me, ideally, where Parliament they make law, not for we self we they make the law. We they make the law for ensure say we protect the ordinary masses. And in law making process, not so the member of Parliament no more they go exercising discretion. If we be consultative, even waiting the member of Parliament wants, if in people they not want her, they not supposed for do. If for restrain in your belief or waiting in one do for ensure say satisfy the people them. So consultation with people them, especially in the lawmaking process, has been very challenging, especially for going to your constituency, make sure say you all meeting. Though some members of Parliament they do but the funding issue very, very serious. Then another thing we also they affect Parliament's work, especially in the oversight function. In the last Parliament, I do a 225 pages thesis on the role of Parliament, you know, in ensuring that we get transparency and accountability. And I do a comparative analysis, you know, among 10 countries, 10 parliaments in the world. I look at both bicameral and monocameral parliament and look at how other countries then succeed and waiting at the limitations that what we get na salon we make parliament no go able hold the executive accountable. You know, in salon now, imagine I am a member of parliament. Then you get a regional chairman, you get national executive officers who are also ministers of government. Yeah. And we, the members of parliament, now we responsibility for all the ministers they are accountable, you know, and for supervise them and for ensure say then deliver on the money. Then deliver on the money we government they give them for ensure say then do them business. But here is a typical example, yeah. Oh. Oh no.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Here is a typical example, yeah. In the last parliament, we get a regional chairman, you know, when a minister. Then we get a member of parliament from that same region, when a MP. Then the member of parliament now he get the committee where they supervise in chairman. So how could that member of parliament be effective for supervise in chairman when that chairman they get for ensure say the member of parliament gets symbol back, you know, for Kana parliament. So most times parliament they renege because of political party affiliation or because of political they want to protect their symbol. So either you for make sure say you probe into well, either they misuse government funds, either then they make sure say they not do the right thing, you find it difficult for all the accountable. Because you the member of parliament, they say, hey, I get for go back for me symbol. So that's one of the things that we identify in the thesis where I do, where they affect, you know, transparency and accountability. You know, then we get a lot of other issues then. Because one thing we very disturbing are that even with constituents there, they don't know waiting at the role of members of parliament. Yeah. Because you they get a very good member of parliament, we extremely good in making law, we extremely good in in representing in people, we extremely good in oversight function. But if that member of parliament they not in your responsibility for make sure say you do developments na the constituency, for make sure say Kargbo make road, dig water well, you know. So the people they now go make comparative analysis between that member of parliament or that way one be member of parliament where they go dig water well, where something in himself for spell and a walk, you understand? Then prefer am. So you when a very good member of parliament, where you do we very good in all the responsibility functions, traditional functions of parliament, and we know they go dig water well for you people, and we know it will make road for you people.
What's in that on a plans for Leona go beyond the normal challenge there where year in year out when they explain say member of parliament they lack the resources, member of parliament they're not able for engage them people people don't even understand the roles of members of parliament them. This year na year of action. A lot of Sierra Leonean them don't tire for a then excuses there who they give them year in year out. People don't they complain about the kind of laws them we will not pass, the kind of agreements them, especially when coming to various agreements them where the Sierra Leone government they go into with other contractors them or maybe other countries.
Well, like I say, it get for do with the political will, you know, and all other countries, you know, members of parliament, and they provide them with substantial amounts of funding for ensure say them consult with them people, because that is very crucial. That is very, very.
Una they approve budget.
Yes. Well, interestingly,
So that's una not they get enough allocation to una or una money not they do for waiting on one.
Interestingly, that's one of the serious challenges that we get as members of parliament. Now they approve, but the budget processes they begin from the ministry. Yeah. After the ministry then can submit to we, the members of parliament. And according to the PFM Act, we also get limited role for influence changes in waiting in the Kawit na parliament, you know. So it's very, very interesting and very serious. Now, members of parliament where they approve budget, yeah. Even the members of parliament get their own limitations, get their own challenges. One word don't tell another that we not get sufficient funding for make sure so we they consult with people on a regular basis. Like for example, some month then they pass up to 3 or 4 acts into we they pass up to 3 or 4 bill into act. Yeah. And in all of them circumstances, then they ideally, you know, procedurally, you need for consult with the people and you need for can talk the opinion of you people and not your opinion. So imagine somebody get for Ghana in constituency on 4 different occasions. We forgo they want no more. Just the field. You don't spend all your facilitation when 6,000 euros just on the field. How you go able to get there? So it's very serious, it's very challenging. And members of parliament them, like we say, at a point in time during this budget, you know, we been getting hot with the Ministry of Finance because a lot of things then we members of parliament then be deprived of. Even medical, members of parliament they not get medical. We don't lost several members of parliament in the last parliament. In this parliament, we don't lost them because of health challenges. You see, and me feel say the kind work with members of parliament and they do, we know for just take the people for granted. We just know for sit down inside parliament and pass the laws and say now this we want, now this we want. The people need for be involved. If for be people centered parliament and if for be, you know, if for be an open parliament where at the end of the day people will contribute considerably for the laws they will they make. So like we say, the constitution ideally say now they approve the budget, but realistically members of parliament get limited role in the budget allocations, you know, and parliament is constrained.
We will come back to you. You say for the watch, in case you get any question for us to the 3 arms of government, feel free for the go on the comment section and the different platforms inside the watch with this morning. Today we talk to the 3 arms of government for tell we waiting and plan for do for 2026 for ensure so the action where the presidents don't declare say for happen inside this 2026. We don't talk to the executive arm, also the Minister of Information and Civic Education don't tell we waiting governments, especially President Bill in action mean the legislative self. We don't hear from Honorable Abdul Kargbo. Now we go on the phone for talk to the judiciary. Let we know what's in the judiciary. From the Vox Pop the way we do, when I been hearing the citizen and it is concern about seeing them where they happen, where then they expect say people forget justice. We not let that slide. We they can't ask the questions to the judiciary for no waiting themselves plan for do for ensure say the action where the presidency for happen, people get justice from their own parts na government. Good morning, Elkas Sano, Director of Communications na the judiciary, and welcome to the breakfast show.
Good morning, good morning, Australians, and happy New Year.
All right. Firstly, just tell we from the judiciary, the president in speech been said this a year for action. For Una, what in this word action mean for the judiciary?
For we, as an institution headed by the Chief Justice, His Lordship Honorable Justice Kumba Kamanda, it means say now for move from we comfort zone and able make sure say waiting then establish the Salon Judiciary for pursuant to the Salon Constitution, we now the administration of justice to every manner of men we they approach the court. We for able make sure say we do in an effective and efficient way nationally for every citizen, regardless of you region which I come out, regardless of you social status in society, regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of your religious orientation or belief, we for able make sure say justice is delivered in a timely manner, regardless of the challenges, taking into consideration that justice everywhere in the world is very expensive, but with the little, we for able make sure say no excuse, like where the Honorable Chief Justice, no they take no for an answer, for able make sure say then against them where the judiciary gets international recognition for inside 2025, we will maximize standing and for able make sure say the Salon Judiciary where the driver within at the seat now Honorable Justice Chief Justice Combat Commander for able make sure say we make the judiciary an envy within the sub-region. Fambulem, I want to make una also know say in as much as the judiciary this 2026, the Honorable Chief Justice gets what we call is a strategic focus with tied to the judiciary a strategic plan for able to make sure say we achieve within the judiciary one achieve in line with the strategic plan 2026 as a way of getting an action-oriented leadership. We are pleased as an institution of we achievements them way the judiciary record so far. We been get for position we closing the year. We been get for position we na the international stage for make the non rate we again as the worst judiciary in the world. Before now, we are not even rated, or then they rate we as the worst judiciary. But because of the waiting the achievements, the more we don't record. For instance, the first Court of Appeal sittings na the provinces, the first term my 91 gets their own court, the first term Bo gets their own sexual offences model court, for the first time McKinney gets sexual offences model court. For because of their first them where I don't show, we don't record, we make judiciary, then don't recognize we not only locally but internationally. We make now people they get more confidence in the judiciary for Kana Court, we get more caseload. We are very pleased with those records. We make this time around the Honorable Chief Justice like over time. In fact, he not be able to even get holiday, he not be able to even celebrate, observe holiday. Throughout, he make sure say this holiday, he keep himself busy. By the time we can be able to direct we as to what we want to achieve inside 2026.
LCAS 2025 now one way very challenging for judiciary. We don't hear so many complaints from the citizens them we can go na courts for get justice. Una don't come under scrutiny from various organizations them, especially from Chadi. We don't do various reports where according to the reports them they expose the Salon judiciary, especially the courts, especially una systems, how a weak where they make Salon people through various perception surveys say they don't lost confidence in the judiciary. How na go ensure say una translate this year of action into serious action for rebrand this perception where people get about the judiciary?
Thank you so very much. One thing I want to always establish now that the judiciary not averse to criticism. Criticism we able to redefine we work. Criticism where they able make sure say when we visit the drawing board we see say this they actually guide we to how we for able make sure say we maximize work in delivery of justice. But also like you say, people have not get confidence in the judiciary. That's not true. That is fallacious and that's unfounded. Because if you watch at waiting they happen, we get more confidence now in the judiciary than ever before. If you watch at with caseload on the number of cases them where the Chief Justice they assign, it don't increase astronomically.
So why people perception, why Elkas, why people in perception different about the judiciary?
No, it depends on who that you talk to. It depends on the people that we talk to. But what I mean, you know, is that we now this country, we get we believe say there is no we don't get we did it. What means say we acknowledge the fact say there are challenges, but for say people will not get confidence in the judiciary, that's not true. That is false. That's unfounded. If people are not get confidence in the judiciary, they're not even rate we as among the best performing judiciaries in the world. We were rated by the World Justice Rule of Law Project. We rate the judiciary. This not because of the gains them way the judiciary don't able record so far. Where I just explained. For example, place like my 91. We not ever get court there. My 91 now the boast of having a resident magistrate court. Not only the resident magistrate court, we get a sitting magistrate court where they deal with cases them within my 91.
So with all the action there, you go boldly say
we get the Court of Appeal since the establishment of the judiciary, since independence. So we get since independence of the establishment of judiciary. When the Court of Appeal no move from in comfort zone under this leadership, Court of Appeal no move now. They don't go now the provinces. Go deal with cases then at the north. As I talk to you next month, Court of Appeal they go cases them will originate or will emanate from the southeast. Judges then they go now for go sit down on them cases them for able done them. As inside 2025, Bo no ever get sexual offenses model court. Bo now get sexual offenses model court where they cover southeastern province. We not only do that. McKinney no ever get sexual offenses model court. Now McKinney get sexual offenses model court where they cover that particular region there. As I talk to you, over time, Kono not even been Kono court being very deplorable. Kono not been get a resident judge. As I talk to you now, Kono get a sitting resident judge, and we don't go. The Honorable Chief Justice don't renovate the courts, the magistrate court and the high court, where make now the magistrate they sit on in a conducive and ideal environment.
So Elkas, with all the actions there where you say una don't take, you go boldly say every Sierra Leonean. Elkas,
2026, yes.
You go boldly say every Sierra Leonean where they go na the judiciary for seek justice, they get equal justice na a proper environment.
It depends on the context what you mean by equal justice in the proper environment.
Because we don't see pictures na a report where they expose the systems or the situation where the courts then they courts files them and they even put them na arrest bag them where they cause missing files. Most people them case then they delay because they file and they lost.
Now you talk about an environment. I just make reference to Kono. Kono, the roof of the magistrate court not been there. Rainy season, courts not been the sit on themselves na Kono. When the Honorable Chief Justice, His Lordship, Honorable Justice Komba Kamanda, take over, based on the fact that he don't start as a magistrate, till he come to Supreme Court, based on the wealth of experience, he say not to not the sit down and comfort zone. Those challenges where you inherit, you know they able nowhere not the way I can't tell family where they listen to me say we they address them one grade or we they address them tomorrow. We acknowledge say there are challenges, but for example when you say missing files, nowhere not the way ever from when we done the judiciary for over 5 years now. Nowhere not there is not a point in time where they don't say file long ever missing a judiciary. It's not ever possible, and you know they ever possible if we are the challenge the public now or are the challenge Liberty TV now for say if they get a record, if they get the case number, may encounter and whosoever will feel say engage in then kind unprofessional act them, we go investigate her and he will be prosecuted because we not get no safe haven for somebody where they work now the judiciary way in work now for undermine the work of the judiciary in making sure say we deliver justice. But one thing I make
they come back to you quickly, El Caslo. Just come to the Minister of Information. Then we'll come back to you as to continue for look at some of the actions they want to take for ensure say people get free and equal justice 2026 as they look at the three arms of government waiting at their own actions so they go take for make sure say Sierra Leone people get the different services them within three arms of government here they provide for them.
All right, we come back to the minister quickly before you left. And we talk about actions for 2026. Waiting you the left to the people of Salon in terms of actions, we know that tangibles them where the executive arm of government they plan for achieve this 2026.
I want to put it in very simple terms with them willing to understand. Would they spend more money in agriculture? Would they give more incentives for people for letting take part in the agriculture food chain? Will they ensure say we increase food production at the country? We believe say go lead to a reduction in prices for food. We go complete the construction of more roads, more bridges all across the country, especially feeder roads and roads that will facilitate the agriculture process. We will see an improvement in the electricity infrastructure, both with the MCC money, but also Mission 300 Compact and the new change we don't begin foresee. We will make sure say electricity continue to be stable, but not just stable, but also expanded into new areas across the country. Down in a big area. Health. We will continue to construct major healthcare facilities across the country, support the one that we exist right now, make sure say then transition into the solar project we know about, we will try to make sure say we did it, and less shortages, and also continue for support with doctor them, for let them take with doctors and nurses, medical workers them, for let them do an even better job than they do right now, and for let them take up posts as well in different areas across the country. In terms of jobs, we create enabling environment for like more young people, especially graduates and people that with skills, for them get job and they get access to jobs. There's a whole program with Minister of Youth, the President, and all across government that investing for like we ensure say more and more jobs and be available to the people of this country. But I want to make clear, all of these things I don't talk any more and more where I believe say we will continue for example, water. We'll get some big projects with the World Bank. We'll continue for invest in water and sanitation opportunities for people across the country. This year, the Minister of Tourism not declared as a year of creativity, where they celebrate the 65th independence anniversary of the country. So now big year this way camper, tourism, culture, and creativity. We expand, for example, the film sector with the app for lead now the Ministry of Information and Civic Education. And then the President may declare January 18, about 2 weeks from now, as National Remembrance Day. Was a common area the meeting where they run for Ghana because we don't call a big multi-stakeholder meeting for think about how the market that they will come back to Ghana for can brief and follow all the parts of that day. So a year of action, where they lead to tangible difference in the lives of our people. We will lead to prices go down, more access to food, more teachers, and I mentioned Nandi, or more teachers in school. Will they refurbish? I think the numbers about over 250 schools across the country. Will they continue for invest in human capital development, food security, when President Bio in signature?
With all them plenty here, who now want for do for show people say the executive arm of government ready for take action. When exactly in the year the people then go begin feel all the action there because the year just begin.
As the year they go on, President Bibi always say, "Oh, Georgia,
towards
quarter, the end, this
second quarter."
Absolutely, some of them measure you begin feel like immediately. Some of these measures them now as the year they go on because we make the investments here. For example, the camp governance we mentioned, the tripartite recommendation, the TRC recommendation, Remembrance Day. We all get for Finland. We camp we sing for happen on the recommendation that they bring forward from the tripartite. Now, we all get for look at that, the reforms that they put in place for strengthening the governance process, the reform that they put in place for set up, for example, data protection. We get for affects on all Naya. We don't ready for bring the paper cabinet and then a parliament and go past that, we set up new institutions. All these now action we President build on promise, and I promise the people and me on commitments on behalf of the government of Salone, and that we go do we very best. We go work as hard as we can. And the president say we go be honest, we go be transparent, we go be disciplined. Our commitment, and then anybody will not live by that. I know see the president will take a very serious action against them people and they. But I believe that when the commander-in-chief, we coach, we boss, don't set the pace, we on job for follow and for deliver. And I assure you we will deliver.
All right, Mr. Minister, with time, they call you for say, hey, Minister, the round, the people and the action, them, they not begin for feel it. Many thanks for you joining me this morning as you can represent the executive of government way. Now, they in charge for implement some of the things them don't put into a manifesto agenda. There's always now a pleasure. Forget you.
Thank you and wonderful 2026 to the Liberty TV online family.
Thank you.
Thank you for the good work we do last year, and I hope so we'll continue to move the media space forward in Salone. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, from the Minister of Information, quickly, they'll come back to El Cas. They'll go come to the Honorable Abdul Kargbo, where himself will continue for talk about waiting, then go do from the Parliament side. El Cas, so they come back to you. You will talk about some of the things they do for ensure say people get equal justice all over the country, especially one that we get a perception about the judiciary say it not function well.
Yes, I want also for commend una for able to make sure say we gonna get to your side so that then false information the people in the peddle na social media or some people they do them for deliberately for paint the judiciary wrongly. I want to state this shortly. Waiting we don't the Sierra Leoneans then they commend we and even development partners them waiting in the commend the judiciary for under this current leadership across the board. One, for increase more access to justice more than ever before in the history of this country. Number two, cut the seats now very early. Why may cut the seat very early now? The Honorable Chief Justice, Una said will agree with me, say, if they go right across now, the court, if they grab an unannounced visit for monitor the effectiveness and efficiency of everybody where they sit in a court, that is to say, the magistrates and where they sit in a court, the judges to where they sit in a court, then the commitment of the court personnel, them, the Honorable Chief Justice, they do that. So we don't get commendation for that. Another thing again, Supreme Court and other courts they sit now regularly than ever before. Go on the same court monitors, them court reporters, men and they report to the public so that they go understand say things that will not be they happen. Now it they happen. Now that's even make we they get them kind of international recognition across the board. Then we go continue. Yes.
With the international recognitions the way they talk, let we come back locally. You don't try for explain for say the judiciary don't they do well under the leadership currently. And if you talk about the judiciary and what they do generally in terms of delivering justice, El Cas,
the drug cases them when the Honorable Chief Justice said the specialized court and when I see the improvement, every cases they will receive, we don't do more than 20 convictions and still convictions in the cameras.
Popular among cases where they of public interest, where I believe say the public might want forget updates on currently na the judiciary, get for do with the commission of inquiry cases them within at the courts, waiting at the status of them.
Say again, I know that's the line.
I said like you they explain the good work where according to you the judiciary don't they do. One of the cases them where they of public interest gets for do with the commission of inquiry, for example, waiting at the status of them cases and they.
As it is now, I not be able to tell you because when we come at the media for talk, we dey talk to serious people serious people where they listen and follow this program. So waiting I will assure you now as it is, I not be able to tell you the status because I not follow up to this moment where I can. But rest assured, say after this program, I will engage the secretariat, and when they inform me accordingly, then I will relay the message to Una. But also, one my family understand, waiting very, very important. When you talk about say missing file, you know, one day happen, or say file missing, and they challenge whosoever will get that information, the public, for say, may them come through Liberty TV or may them come to my court, na my office. The honorable, in fact, waiting that something was very pleasing. I tell Fambulem, where I know say Fambulem they will make use of them. Now we get redress mechanism, measures where we don't put in place, where the honorable chief justice they operate an open door policy now, where means say people litigant lawyers, when they get them concerned, when they bring and come to the attention of the honorable chief justice, instant the honorable chief justice they address them. Where you know ever they now we get complaint redress mechanism approach, where it means say because we the honorable chief justice say if they commit in administration to transparency and accountability, because to transparency they inspire confidence in administration. So now that make it they operate an open door policy. We you get concerned if you not count to me office or we office communications and public affairs. If you go to the honorable chief justice, whatever concerns you get, it they address it. You know why? Because people them get concerned, and when they come to court, then they expect say those concerns should be addressed within the required timely manner. And now all this make people now get confidence in the judiciary. May I tell you, the Honorable Chief Justice, they assign more cases now than ever before. Now, more cases than they go now, we cut them. Now we cut them than ever before. The caseload don't increase. But mark you, with all the caseload them here where we get, what in the Honorable Chief Justice they do? There is a monitoring mechanism in place. Because you know they talk about administration of justice, you know they monitor waiting they happen. Now waiting they happen. When the Honorable Chief Justice don't assign a matter to a judge or a particular court, every month we get what we call returns. That returns day, like when you ask me just now, forget the status of this particular case. That returns day from every court, the registrar, they able to give updates. So the master and registrar, they take her now to the judiciary management headed by the chief justice for able to know waiting at the status of them matters them where they before the court. Waiting happen, waiting not happen, waiting at the bottleneck. So immediately the honorable chief justice they engage the court for able to make sure say we are able to address them their bottlenecks there. But also what our family know. What thing we want to achieve, or what thing now we commitment for this 2026, we're very, very, very important. In line with the judiciary at a strategic plan, the Honorable Chief Justice want make sure say with the recruitment of them judges, them magistrates there now, we embark on circuit court, places them how to reach difficult areas them, so that judges, them magistrates, them they go sit there now for increase more access to justice than ever before. Then another thing again where our family know as part of the digitalization process, where the chief justice, because justice everywhere are very much important. Not for Canada courts no more. It gets a lot of factors them where either they militate or where they fast track the expeditious delivery of justice. Now the honorable chief justice they digitalized we court. One of them thing away we don't do now. Now for able make sure say we get now then cuts them. The honorable chief justice don't put up digital technology, digital technology where they record and provide transcripts. For example, court A, we don't begin with court number 1 and court number 2. When courts they go on, then the transcript they record from both sides. That is the one we count in court and the one we then count the court. At the end of the day, that transcript will be produced and bring and come to the attention of the court. The reason why we do all them things and for able make sure say expeditious justice delivery and we will get now more research. Judges and they embark on more research because the Honorable Chief Justice don't able make sure say we get e-library, electronics library. That library
All
not
right,
only for
thank you.
for also law students, them, lawyers, them, and researchers, them, and more capacity training now. Judiciary staff then they come on at this country and go other country on international exchange knowledge. So
all right, hopefully LCAS with all them things there where you say okay, with all them things there where you don't talk about, hopefully the people and perception go change about the judiciary. Many thanks for you join with this morning. You talk about the actions where the judiciary they take for give equal justice to Sierra Leone and them inside 2026. That na Elkas Sano in the Director of Communications and Public Affairs for the Sierra Leone Judiciary. If they talk to we inside that interview day, but then your actions where they ready for takers. We all know President I beg your pardon, President Bio been declared 2026 as year of action.
All right, so we continue with the breakfast show and they come back at the studio as we still get Honorable Abdul Kargbo at the studio with 3 minority leader in a parliament. We don't talk about waiting on ourselves to do for this 2026. Where we talk about action, like you begin explain for parliament waiting I mean. Let we now look at waiting different on our plan for do this year. Because when you listen to the Vox Pop from the viewers, them when on our electorates them, then talk say they feel like the members of parliament they consult them when they ready for do make laws them na parliament, and at the end of the day most of them laws and the way una can pass. So now then people can implement where they affect service delivery and every other issues them where they can raise concern about. So for 2026, what's in different get for happen?
Well, like I say, the challenges them they, and one of the conspicuous challenges now the fact say we get limited resources as members of parliament. But quite apart from that, even amidst the challenges, we for ensure say we do our job as members of parliament, and we for ensure say we create the necessary difference. For 2026, we get for look at the recommendations of the tripartite committee, especially the review of the electoral laws them. You can agree with me that after we election, that is the 2023 elections, we get a good number of international observers. We talk say the elections now if you are not transparent, you know. We get the European Union election observation mission. We talk say, you know, the elections lack transparency, and also they even urge, you know, ECSL for release disaggregated polling station data. We get Qatar Center also when also international observers them we also, you know, see the elections the elections generally not transparent. We get embassies them across Sierra Leone. You know, we get the United States Embassy, we get the French Embassy, we get the Irish Embassy, we get the High Commission of the British, you know, all then give their own view about the election, say are not transparent. And there be the urge, you know, ECSL for release the disaggregated, you know, polling station data. So we as parliament, we for ensure say we create laws them we go make the loopholes them we, you know, then capitalize on in the previous elections not happen again. I'm not to say the laws they're not been there, laws they've been there, but you get for ask yourself the questions, where those laws strictly followed? Like for example, you know, the law we say I think subsection 1 of section 92 of the Public Elections Act, where it talks say, you know, the collation form begin at the polling station, after which you go na the district, after which you go na the region, after which you go national. But during the elections, we read 60% of all polling stations, you know, and me being there as a counting agent na the Northwest region. You know, we ask the ECSL staff we been there, the returning officer we been there. It talks not to send the results to national. So you get for ask yourself who sign national poll that result there. It was against waiting then at the Public Elections Act. It was flouted. So we get for ensure say back we create a tight space for let nobody not flout the laws the way they make in the parliament, because that is critical and that is crucial. You know, so alone then at the bad light for every reason. We find out say even for the governance kickstart, it not be easy. Initially, members of the opposition deny say that they take them seats in our parliament or the council, just because of the controversies that we emanate from the results we they get. So we were ensure say, you know, the recommendations that we don't be set out for ensure say the elections they're very transparent, then be accountable, and we pass them a parliament for ensure say the forthcoming election will be free, fair, and transparent.
As soon as they just say so that the laws them will not pass, people go adhere to them. Let we come to the area we get for do with missing billions of loans. Now they approve government's budgets, but year in year out through the audit reports, through the ACC and other means of investigation them, it clearly shows say people still they misuse taxpayers' money. How na go ensure say una tighten some of the loopholes there where them people there can get, where they make any misuse government money, especially budget allocation, where una can approve for them?
Well, interestingly, we get waiting then called budget credibility issue. Waiting a budget credibility issue, like we don't go to parliament, we don't approve say 10,000 for go to Liberty. I just the illustrative example, not necessarily say government the gain money. 10,000 for go to Liberty, then 10,000 for go to other radio TV stations. We can do approve than the na parliament. But again, we then go the Ministry of Finance, now then they disburse. So sometimes then the Ministry of Finance go disburse about 10% of which we approve for one MDA and disburse 100% of which we approve for other MDA. Meaning sometimes Liberty then go just give you out of the 10,000, sometimes then go just give you 1,000. You know, the other radio station or TV station online then give them the 10,000 or give them even more than waiting parliament approve. So budget credibility don't be a very serious issue. We, you know, been come out very clearly in we debates the parliament for ensure say, you know, the disbursement then be uniform. In fact, one of the suggestions that we maybe make in the parliament now for ensure say the disbursement be on percentage basis. So if you give any MD, if not 10%, you give let be 10% right across the board. Or if not 20%, let be 20% right across the board. But you cannot strangulate certain MDs while you give money to other MDs. Now, one of the things that we they strangulate development. Also, the missing billions. Like I say, members say now the audit reports that be used for get onto the for even constitute or nine the commissions of inquiry be used as the principal document for probe into former ministers, you know, and make sure say them then get some, you know, for go answer to questions, especially when and things that we go wrong and money that we missing at the audit reports. But it will interest you for not say, you know, last year we get the highest losses in the audit report. Money we did not account for. Not been the highest in the history of Salon. But you get for ask yourself, say, was anybody called to answer? Or was anybody? No, yes, that is why I'm coming to there. You know, you get for ask yourself, say anybody call, then call anybody for answer. You know, then call anybody for go, you know, and like how they say the PAC in a parliament get their responsibility. And one of the responsibilities that we then get, you know, now that then they look at queries, then where they come out from the audit report after parliament don't debate them and all, you know. But you get for ask yourself again, in almost all parliaments, you know, most of the parliament, you know, the PAC is chaired by the opposition, you know, and in Salon we don't use for say, well, if the opposition or the chair the PAC, let the opposition be deputy. you know. But in this very current parliament, we get a very big challenge where we don't raise on several occasions that the opposition not be chair and not be deputy chair at the PAC.
Why that?
Well, that is our own question, and that is a challenge where Mr. said don't take to the leadership of SLPP. Yes, now they say. Yes, they say I don't take the challenge to the leaders of the SLPP for ensure say. Well, their responses are not even clear. But we the CC then they against accountability, and then they against even the audit standard, because audit institutions then they look for the opposition where we get very free hand or question people when they run government on how then they use public fund. Then you get for look again about the implementations of the recommendations of the audit reports. Are they really implemented within the recommendations then say? And the recommendations that we follow them very strictly. So we get a lot of issues on accountability. Though the PAC, then can get the hearing, then can see them on issues. But as generally as a parliament, we get issues that we for ensure say we settle within the shortest possible time for the betterment of the nation and for prevent subsequent financial losses the way they take place.
From them thing we don't clearly shows a collaboration or the from the legislative arm, and now President Biodon declare 2026 in a year of action. For let action go be taken, for let them able for deliver as a government is about collaboration, because owner self gets on your own major role for play. For let MDs then deliver on again for approve budgets for them. If they're not approve budgets for them, they're not going to get them spending allocation. Now the area of collaboration, how owner parliament ready for collaborate with the other arms of government for make President Bio in 2026 year of action able for deliver on them. Citizens able for feel say yes, this na year of action where the president been deliver any happen.
Well, so far since the beginning of this parliament to now, we don't ensure say, we collaborate, especially on laws that we get for do with anything we get for progress the nation. We don't, on several occasions, make them very clear say we are in the opposition, but we are not opponents of the development of this nation. Now that make anything we then care go parliament to say it could expeditiously with the help government for passing. But anything we questionable, we go raise with voice, we go debate against them, we can even get public hearing, we get we own parliamentary press conferences, the work all for make sure say we condemn anything we not good. But like we say, parliament na vote, na majority always get a voice na parliament. Now then they get a say na parliament. Now then they get a way na parliament. So ideally, we in the opposition not be very, in fact, we don't be very cooperative, and then we very sensitive also for ensure say we criticize anything we not debate at this country. Anything we not come with a mentality for progress this nation, we they outrightly criticize them. And then we don't do,
Before now, apart from the fact to go for pass laws then and do some other things, key among them gets for do with this constitutional review process and the views of the people, the constitution not to see whether they change like every year. The views of the people paramount in all of this. And you explained earlier, say, on parliaments, they get challenged even for do oversight, do consultation with people before una can pass some of the laws there. How una go ensure, say, 2026, among many other things, will come to issues of the constitution, the views of the people reflect?
Well, interestingly, because of the limited funding we did for members of parliament, I've been come up with an initiative where I want to commend the leadership of the opposition at parliament when at the press conference. The press conference, they be widely covered. Sometimes they will not help we for broadcast the press conference where I express my profound thanks and appreciation. We use the press conference for conscientize generally Sierra Leoneans about, things that we build that we want pass in parliament, things that we did at the pipeline at parliament. And make sure so we also inform them about generally things the way they happen at the nations as at the nation as a whole. So amidst the limited resources, we devise a way, and that way they don't be very effective, because we dey invite journalists them from across different media, for go cover the press conference. Also, we dey deal with issues the way they affect the nation, and issues the way parliament they deal with. So we find out, say, even the perception or the misinterpretation of the work of the opposition at parliament don't be a little bit controlled because of them press conferences and people also they know what we do or what we intend for do na parliament, you see. So that have been one of the ways that we devise for ensure say, we get to the people and we get informed as to what's in the happen.
So as the year just as the one of the leader them na parliament and leader of the opposition, waiting will be words of assurance to the citizen on behalf of government, because una self na part of government, for ensure say una deliver for them, especially when it comes to various services. Now una respective arms them we una supposed for give to the citizens.
Well, interestingly, like I say, we've been very cooperative when it comes to anything where they progress this nation, because we believe, say, Sierra Leone as a country not belong to SLPPO. Governments have come and gone. With the get election 2028, highly likely say SLPP they go. So we get for develop the country in a pace that even when we come for can take over, we not go take over a shattered nation. We not go take over a nation way very hard for repair. So now that make we say they put we wills into the process for ensure say whatsoever then they carry it we good for the nation with the person. But whatsoever we very disturbing. Though we not get the number for stopper, but we go vehemently condemn them, we go criticize them, and we go give an alternative, solution to waiting and they carry it. And then the things so we don't do, severally. And we go also be very effective for ensure say the right thing happen during the constitutional review process. Because for touch the constitution now you need 2/3 of all members of parliament. So
the constitutional review process.
Well, they not take a bit to parliament. They not take
a consultation they go on.
Well, not at parliament level, because until it gets to the desk, then it become we own property now. We can do it at anything we want to. But as far as that is concerned, they not take it to parliament. I should say the consultations the way they go on outside parliament. Because according to the constitution, parliament is the supreme legislative authority, So we do wait for let them take an parliament. And like I say, anything we get for do with the constitution, and not say the other legislatures, but especially with the constitution, you need 2/3 of all members of parliament.
According to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, President Bio determined for review the 1991 Constitution before he left power. From where you are sitting now, you see that say now a possibility?
Yes, the possibility there for review the Constitution. In fact, it is not only coming from government. We, even at the leadership of parliament, me together with my colleague, we're not the leader of government business. We don't be approached by, even the United States Embassy. Follow express with willingness for the process, and now we assure the embassy say we not go be a stumbling block to the reviews the way they come now parliament. And then they say we don't make them very clear. Say once we know the reviews, once it is tabled in parliament, then we could do everything humanly possible for work together for ensure say expeditiously we pass the reviews them.
Many thanks for joining with this morning. Although we can look at the three arms of government, when are the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. We get the Minister of Information earlier, we get the Director of Communications and Public Affairs from the judiciary, and of course, one of the leader them in parliament, when Honorable Abdul Kargbo. When I hear from them, they all don't talk about the year of action, where according to parliament, they're willing for collaborate with the executive arm and the other arms of government for let them make sure they then deliver for the citizens. Well, we will bring them come back by by the third year they done, we can look at some of these things them where they don't talk, if then do them, and if na practical things them way the citizens them feel we go ask them back all them questions then they. Many thanks to the entire team, the production team, and also the technical team we support we for let this edition of the Breakfast Show meet you. Continue for watch Liberty TV throughout the day. We get very interesting content them all they produce for now. Mina Khadija Banguga, they say have a good day.
All right, till we meet again. Mabel Kabade, so get a good day and continue for watch Liberty TV.